one of the all-time great NBA players, four-time NBA champion, three-time Finals MVP, and host of the big podcast with Shaq, none other than Shaquille O'Neal here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Shaq?
You forgot, a.k.a. the Black Rich Eisen.
You know what? I need to add that to my notes.
Yes.
So does
the
that
Black
make
Rich Eisen?
Does that make me the white Shaquille O'Neal?
Oh, yes, it does.
I did not know that. Can I start?
Of course.
How many reservations will that get me into fine dining establishments, Shaq?
All you gotta do is just tell them your name, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we know who you are. You're the White Shaq. Eat for free."
I'm gonna practice that in the mirror and see if it sticks. I appreciate that, Shaq. That's a big compliment. So thank you,
brother. You know, I just want to say you've always done a wonderful job on TV, but I enjoyed listening to you. You are so insightful. You've always been intelligent, and I'm honored to be on your show. Honored to have known you for these many years, and it's nice talking to you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, Shaq. One of the first times I met you is I strolled onto the court in Staples, and that was after I just gotten engaged, and you complimented me on my choice of ring for my wife, who was covering your team at the time. Shaq, do you remember that moment?
Yes, you have unbelievable taste in jewelry. I was so jealous. I was like, gee, you must make a lot of money talking all the time.
Well, I was a single Sports Center anchor at the time. I thought you said I'd have a better taste in women, but that's okay, Shaq. I just want to make sure I can go home with my head held high, Shaquille.
Oh, of course you can.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. What do you think about these NBA Finals as they currently stand at one game apiece, Shaq?
You know, it's interesting. I guarantee Golden State, even though they lost again the other day, you know, in the finals, you know, sometimes you have to beat a team to, you know, get the momentum shift. But Golden State is saying, you know what, we didn't play well. MVP Steph Curry is saying, hey, I missed 11, 12 threes. I'm not going to shoot that bad again. You guys are saying Dellavedova shut me down. Watch what I do tonight in Game 3. We now have a series. A lot of people like Golden State. Some people like Cleveland. I like the series because it has two storylines. First storyline, guy grows up in Cleveland, gets drafted by the team, plays there for a while, leaves all of a sudden. They hate him. They're burning his jersey. He goes to Miami, wins a couple. He's up for free agency. He sends a letter, FedEx. Everybody's waiting for the letter. We open the letter. He goes back to Cleveland. So if he wins, I think it'll be one of those sports stories that we'll be talking about for the next 40, 50 years. On the other hand, you got a guy, Steph Curry, and I like Steph Curry because he's a player that I haven't seen before. What I mean by that, usually when you get to the finals and you talk about dominant guards or dominant shooting guards, I'm talking about big guards. I'm talking about Mikes, LeBron, the Kobe's, the D-Wades. If you look at this kid, the other day when I was doing Game 1 and Game 2, this little kid walked by me, and I'm like, this guy looks like a little baby out there. He looks like a high school sophomore, but he's so dominant out there. So if he wins, I think it'll be a change in how general managers start looking at teams. You know, when I was playing, it's all about we got to get a dominant big man, we got to get a respectable big man, and we build around a big man. They have no big man whatsoever. You know, Andrew Bogut is a respectable center. I don't want to disrespect him, but you know, they're all about working hard, playing together, and they got an unbelievable backcourt. You know, the Splash Brothers are the prettiest backcourt I've seen probably ever.
Well, Shaq, what do you think Steph Curry's teammates were thinking as he was hoisting up shot after shot and it wasn't going in Game 2? What does a teammate think of that when they see a shooter continue to be unsuccessful in a single night?
You know, when you play, but like if you look at his shots, they were good shots and they were his shots. He's not a selfish guy. You know, he's not a guy that comes out and look for his. He always makes the right play. So when you play with a guy that always makes the right play, and that guy is your go-to guy and he's off, you got to roll with it. You know, nobody is immune to having a bad game. And, you know, this is the first time I've seen Golden State live by the jumper and die by the jumper. You know, usually I've never seen him off. You know, a lot of other guys have been off, but he was always the one to carry them and bring them back. But I guarantee you they feel good. He missed, 11, 12, 13 three-pointers, and they lost by 2. they definitely have not lost an ounce of confidence.
Shaquille O'Neal joining me here. The Big Podcast with Shaq can be downloaded at Podcast One immediately. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Also unusual is to see a star player, one of the all-time best, not get a call from the officials. Do the refs not respect LeBron James, Shaq?
You know, late, game one, everybody criticized him for taking a jumper. Game two, he goes to the hole. 3 guys hack him. He still don't get the call. But what I like about LeBron, he's not really complaining about it. But it happens. It's a tough job. Can't call a foul every time. Does he get fouled every time? Probably yes. He gets fouled every time. But he's so dominant. He's so big and strong. I always hear a lot of people say he's hard to officiate. I don't really think he's hard to officiate, but sometimes he gets called, sometimes he doesn't. But they got out of there with a win. I'm sure he's happy. They only shot, 30-something%, and was still able to win a game. So they feel really good going home to Cleveland.
So let me ask you this question, Shaq. Did you get fouled every time?
Of course. Every single time I touched the ball, I got fouled.
Right,
yes.
Exactly. And then when it all comes down to it, though, you made the free throws when you needed to. I know that. Do you think the NBA should switch the rules on all this hacking of Jordan and hacking of Dwight Howard and now hacking of Tristan Thompson, that they should change the rule to avoid this sort of thing?
I don't think they should, because the rules have been set way before I started playing. And, some coaches, old school coaches, they say, hey, we got to go beat this team. Let's physically beat them. Let's mentally beat them, and let's win. And there's a lot of coaches that like to go to strategy. Most of the coaches, in my opinion, that have gone to strategy will never win. You may win a game or do something like that, but, if you look at all the guys, all the coaches that pulled out these strategies, they're all gone. So, I just think Steve Kerr, when he did it in a strategy, and it worked. Guy either missed 2 or he made 1, and then his team is able to come down and either get a 2-pointer or get a 3-pointer, and that's how they cut into that 11-point lead and take the game into overtime. So, like I said, some guys use it for strategy, and some guys just use it to use it. But most of the time, I don't think that will help you win the championship by going to strategy. You got to outplay. When I look at the NBA and then think about the history of the game, Magic outplayed Bird, and then Bird outplayed Magic, and then Isaiah outplayed Magic, and then Jordan outplayed Isaiah, and then me and Kobe, we outplayed Reggie and outplayed Stojakovic and Vlade Divac. It's all about just going out and playing.
Shaq, before I let you go, I heard on your podcast you mentioned how you used to let air out of the basketballs. Is that true? Did you have your own Deflategate situation?
Yes, it's true, but I didn't look at it as a Deflategate situation. Coming up, I always played with balls that really didn't have a lot of air in it, so I was used to having a certain grip on the ball. So, a lot of times the balls, in my opinion, have too much air in them. So, did I let it out? Yeah, I'm going on record saying I let them out, but it wasn't for cheating purposes. It was for my own personal grip purpose.
So you like them sort of the way Tom Brady does, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if Tom Brady did that. I haven't heard him say he did that.
No.
I know what the records say and what everything says, but yeah, when we have the ball a lot, we like certain grips on the ball.
Mm-hmm. And that's sort of stuff that you hear on the Big Podcast with Shaq on Podcast One. Shaq, we have our own relationship with Norm Pattis, who owns Podcast One, who's been on the sideline at the Laker games. My wife and I have known him for years. So we have some information here of some of the names that were rejected for your podcast title. Would you like to hear them?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. The first one, the big download was...
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
That was one of them. Here's another one. Cast Foo. What do you think of that?
Boo.
Okay. Funny cat pictures review with your host, Shaquille O'Neal.
Boo, boo, boo.
Okay, here's the last one. Kobe, tell me how my pod tastes.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What about Pod Schnickens? Did you like that one?
Even worse.
Oh, gosh. So the big pod, we'll just stick with the Big Podcast.
Yeah, big podcast is pretty good.
Okay, and you enjoying it?
I actually like it. I have a lot to say. I don't. It's fun. We have fun. John Kincaid is a wonderful co-host.
Sure.
He does a lot here in the Atlanta area. He used to work at ESPN, and he's a veteran in the business, and I couldn't do it without him. It's like we're like the Magic and Larry Bird of podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Shaq, I appreciate you calling in. Like I said, my wife sends her best too. Susie says hi, and I say hi back to you too, okay?
All right, brother. Love you guys. Talk to you
bet.
soon.
Yeah, that's Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.